Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Code Your English. I'm really glad you're here. Thanks for taking this time to listen and grow. Today, we're talking about something that touches all of us, no matter who we are, where we live, or what we do: how to organize your life. Now, I know that sounds like a big topic, and it is. But don't worry, we're going to break it down together, step by step. Let me be honest with you, I didn't always feel like an organized person. There were many days, especially in my early 20s, when I felt like life was just happening to me. I was constantly reacting, rushing, forgetting things, feeling overwhelmed. I used to think that being organized just meant having a clean desk or a color-coded calendar. But over time, I learned something deeper. Organizing your life isn't just about being tidy or efficient. It's about creating space in your day, in your mind, in your heart, to live with more purpose and less stress. So, why does this matter? Well, because when your life feels chaotic, it's hard to focus. It's hard to feel motivated. It's even hard to enjoy the good moments because your mind is always somewhere else, thinking about what you forgot, what you haven't done yet, or what you should be doing. That constant mental noise can leave you feeling tired, distracted, and even disconnected from yourself. But when you start to bring some order to your life, even just a little, everything starts to shift. You start to feel lighter, calmer, more in control. Now, I'm not here to sell you some perfect system. Life is messy, and no planner or app is going to fix everything overnight. But I do believe that with small, consistent steps, you can build a life that feels more organized, one that supports your goals, protects your peace, and gives you the freedom to enjoy the things that matter. And the good news? You don't have to wait until everything is perfect to start. In this episode, I'll share practical ideas, personal stories, and some mindset shifts that have helped me and many others get organized, not in a robotic way, but in a real, human way. We'll talk about how to deal with things like perfectionism, self-doubt, and those days when you just don't feel like doing anything. We'll look at how to build small routines, choose the right tools, and stay flexible when life gets messy. Because it always does. And throughout it all, I'll be speaking to you not just as a teacher or a podcast host, but as someone who's walking this path too. Organizing your life is not about being perfect. It's about being kind to yourself, making better choices, and creating the kind of day and life that works for you. So, if you've ever felt like you're always busy but not really getting anywhere, or if you've been putting off something because it feels too overwhelming to even begin, this episode is for you. Take a breath, get comfortable, and let's dive in. What does organizing your life really mean? So, let's start with the big question. What does it actually mean to organize your life? Many people hear that phrase and immediately think of cleaning out a messy drawer, buying a new planner, or making a long to-do list. And yes, those things can be helpful. But organizing your life is much more than just tidying up your room or putting things into boxes. It's not only about your physical space, it's also about your mental space, your priorities, and even your values. Think about it this way. Organizing your life means creating clarity. Clarity in how you spend your time, clarity in what matters to you, and clarity in how you want to live. It's like stepping back and looking at the big picture. Are you spending your energy on things that bring you closer to the life you want? Or are you always busy but not really going anywhere? Organizing your life means making conscious choices instead of just reacting to everything that happens around you. It's about living with intention, not just by habit. One big misunderstanding people often have is the idea that to be organized, everything has to be perfect. You know, every drawer perfectly arranged, every goal clearly written, every task completed on time. But let me tell you something. That kind of perfection doesn't exist. Even the most organized people forget things. They miss appointments. They feel stressed. The difference is they have systems or habits that help them recover more quickly when things go wrong. Trying to be perfect can actually stop you from starting. Maybe you've told yourself, I'll organize my life when I have more time, or I can't start until I find the perfect system. But here's the truth. Waiting for the perfect moment often means waiting forever. Organizing your life doesn't mean controlling everything. It means building a life that supports you, even when things don't go according to plan. It's not about having zero chaos. It's about not letting the chaos control you. And here's something important. Organizing your life doesn't look the same for everyone. We all have different personalities, routines, energy levels, and responsibilities. For example, what works for someone who loves planning might feel like a prison to someone who prefers to go with the flow. A parent of young children will organize their time very differently from a university student or someone working 2 jobs. That's why there's no single right way to be organized. It's not about copying someone else's routine. It's about figuring out what works for you and your life. Maybe you need structure in the mornings to start your day right. Maybe evenings are when you feel most clear and focused. Maybe you like writing things down in a notebook. Or maybe you prefer using an app. Maybe you need quiet time to think. Or you get your best ideas during a walk. All of this is part of the process. Organizing your life starts with knowing yourself, not just following the latest productivity trend on the internet. Another thing people often forget is that your values play a big role in how you organize your life. For example, if you value family, you might want to make more time for loved ones, even if that means saying no to other things. If you value creativity, maybe you need more space in your day for ideas, reflection, or doing something artistic. Without knowing your values, it's easy to get caught in routines that keep you busy, but not really fulfilled. So ask yourself, what truly matters to me? Where do I want my time and energy to go? And yes, mental clarity is just as important as having a clean room or a well-planned schedule. Sometimes your mind is the messiest part of your life. Too many thoughts, too many decisions, too much pressure. When you organize your life, you also learn how to calm your mind, reduce distractions, and create time to just think without noise. That might mean journaling, meditating, or simply turning off your phone for an hour. You're not a machine. Your brain needs rest, space, and order too. So again, organizing your life isn't about looking perfect on the outside. It's about feeling clear and calm on the inside. It's not something you do once and forget about. It's something you return to again and again. Like checking your compass on a long journey. Life changes, and so do we. What felt organized 6 months ago might not work anymore, and that's okay. The goal isn't to finish organizing your life. The goal is to keep growing, to keep checking in with yourself, and to keep choosing the things that move you forward. If there's one message I hope you take from this part of the episode, it's this. Being organized is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of yourself, with a little less stress, a little more peace, and a clearer path ahead. Step 1. Start with self-awareness. Before you can organize your life, you have to understand what your life actually looks like right now. That may sound simple, but it's something many people skip. They jump straight into action, buying planners, writing long to-do lists, watching videos about time management, without first asking, what's really going on in my life? Where is my time and energy going? This first step, self-awareness, is where real change begins. So let's pause for a moment. Think about your last week. Can you remember how you spent most of your time? What did you do after work or school? How often did you feel calm or focused? How often did you feel rushed, distracted, or exhausted? These questions aren't meant to make you feel guilty. They're here to help you notice. Because if you don't know where your time is going, how can you change it? A useful exercise is to write down a simple timeline of your day. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to notice your habits. Do you spend 30 minutes scrolling on your phone every morning? Do you work for long hours without taking breaks? Do you often say yes to things you don't really want to do? Becoming aware of your daily patterns can help you see what's actually working for you and what's not. And that's an important question to ask yourself. What's working? And what isn't? Maybe you have a great morning routine, but your evenings feel out of control. Maybe you're productive at work, but your personal life feels messy. Maybe you're trying to do everything at once, and in the end, you just feel tired and disappointed. Self-awareness isn't about judging yourself. It's about observing with honesty. Think of it like checking the map before starting a trip. If you don't know where you are now, it's hard to figure out where to go next. Another powerful part of self-awareness is understanding your energy, not just your time. We often think of productivity in hours, how many things we can do in one day. But not all hours are the same. You know that feeling when you've had a long, stressful day and you can't even answer a simple email? Or the opposite, when you're in the flow and everything feels easy. That's because energy, focus, and emotions affect how well we use our time. So ask yourself, when do I feel most focused? What activities give me energy, and what drains it? These small insights can help you organize your schedule in a smarter, more natural way. Now, let's go a little deeper. One of the most important parts of organizing your life is knowing what you actually care about. Your values. We all say that certain things are important to us. Health, family, freedom, learning, creativity. But sometimes, we don't live in a way that matches those values. We say we care about health, but we don't sleep enough. We say we want peace, but we fill our calendar with too many plans. This creates a gap between what we say we want and how we live. And that gap can cause stress, confusion, and even guilt. So ask yourself, what do I truly value? What kind of life do I want to build? You don't need to have all the answers right now, but even a few small reflections can help. If you value creativity, maybe you need to protect time in your week to write, paint, or just think. If you value connection, maybe you need to spend more time with people who make you feel supported. When your daily actions are aligned with your values, life starts to feel more organized. Not because everything is perfect, but because everything has a purpose. Sometimes people feel lost because they're living someone else's version of success. Maybe they followed the rules, got the job, did everything right, but still feel like something's missing. That's why self-awareness is so important. It helps you understand what success means for you. It helps you say no to the things that aren't right, and yes to the things that are. And that's a huge part of feeling organized, not just in your schedule, but in your heart and mind. This step, self-awareness, doesn't require any tools, apps, or special systems. All it needs is your attention. Even 5 minutes a day of honest reflection can be life-changing. You can journal, talk to a friend, take a quiet walk, or just sit with your thoughts. There's no one right way. The important thing is to start noticing your life. Start asking questions. Start listening to what feels right and what doesn't. So before you rush to change everything, take a breath. Take a look. Where are you right now? What's working for you? What needs to change? What do you want to feel more of and less of? This isn't about becoming a different person. It's about reconnecting with yourself and beginning the process of designing a life that fits who you really are. The power of small systems. One of the biggest lessons I've learned about organizing your life is this: you can't rely on motivation alone. Motivation is great when it's there. It gives you energy, excitement, and focus. But the problem is, motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel ready to take on the world, and other days you just want to stay in bed. That's completely normal. The mistake many people make is waiting to feel ready before they start doing something important. But if you wait for motivation to magically appear, you might be waiting a long time. So, what's the solution? It's something more stable, more reliable. Systems. Systems are small, repeatable actions or routines that help you stay on track even when you don't feel motivated. You don't need to decide what to do each day. The system decides for you. It's like creating a path in your life that's easy to follow, even when you're tired or distracted. Over time, these systems become habits, and those habits become part of who you are. Let's take a simple example. A morning routine. A lot of successful people talk about their morning routines, and for a good reason. How you start your day often sets the tone for everything else. Now, I'm not saying you need to wake up at 5 a.m., drink green juice, and meditate for an hour. That might work for some people, but not for everyone. What's important is having some kind of structure, something that helps you begin the day with intention. Your routine might include things like making your bed, stretching for 5 minutes, writing a short to-do list, or even just drinking a glass of water and sitting in silence. These small actions help you feel in control from the very beginning of the day. They tell your brain, okay, we're getting started now. And when that becomes a habit, you don't need to think about it. You just do it. Another great example is weekly planning. Maybe every Sunday evening, you take 20 minutes to look at the week ahead. What do you have going on? Are there any deadlines, meetings, or events? What are your top 3 priorities for the week? This habit of checking in regularly helps you avoid surprises, manage your time better, and reduce stress. It's such a small thing, but it makes a huge difference. That brings us to a really important idea. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. In other words, doing something small every day is usually better than doing something big once in a while. For example, journaling for 5 minutes every night is more effective than writing for an hour once a month. Exercising for 15 minutes 3 times a week is more helpful than going to the gym for 2 hours once and never going back. It's the small, regular actions that lead to real change over time. We live in a world that often celebrates big results, fast progress, huge goals, dramatic transformations. But behind every big success, there are usually tiny, boring daily steps. Systems and habits are not exciting. They're not dramatic. But they work. They give you structure when you're tired. They keep you moving when life gets messy. And most importantly, they help you stay connected to your goals, not through force, but through rhythm. If you're trying to get organized, ask yourself, what small systems can I build into my day? Maybe it's setting a timer for 25 minutes of focused work, followed by a 5-minute break. Maybe it's writing down tomorrow's priorities before you go to bed. Maybe it's meal planning every Saturday, so your week feels less stressful. You don't need a full system for every part of your life. Just choose one area that feels chaotic, and start there. Remember, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. That quote always sticks with me. It means that your goals are important, yes, but it's the systems that support those goals that really shape your progress. If your goal is to speak better English, for example, your system might be listening to this podcast 3 times a week, reviewing new words, and practicing speaking with a friend. You don't need to feel motivated every time. You just need to follow the system. And when those systems are simple, clear, and realistic, they become part of your life. Not something extra, not something stressful, just part of your daily rhythm, like brushing your teeth or making coffee. Over time, they give you a stronger foundation. They reduce decision-making. They save mental energy. And most importantly, they make it easier to stay organized. Not just once, but again and again. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't look for the perfect planner or the best productivity hack. Start smaller. Build a simple system. Stick with it. And trust that those small steps, even if they feel too easy, are quietly shaping the life you want. Mindset shifts that make a difference. When we talk about organizing your life, one of the biggest challenges isn't the tools or systems, it's your mindset. Your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings about yourself and your abilities can either help you move forward or hold you back completely. And if you're honest, I'm sure you've felt this too. That quiet voice inside your head saying, "What if I mess up?" Or, "I'm not good enough to do this right." Or maybe, "If it's not perfect, it's not worth doing at all." That's called perfectionism, and it's a sneaky roadblock. Perfectionism makes you set impossibly high standards for yourself, so high that it feels safer not to start than to risk making mistakes. But here's the truth. Waiting for perfect is like waiting for a train that never arrives. You might sit there forever, watching other people move ahead while you stay stuck. I know this because I've been there myself. Let me share a quick story. When I first wanted to start learning English seriously, I felt overwhelmed. I thought, I need to speak perfectly before I even try to talk to someone. So, I spent months studying grammar and vocabulary alone, afraid to speak because I was worried about making mistakes. I kept telling myself I wasn't ready yet. But the more I waited, the harder it became to begin. It was like climbing a mountain that kept getting taller. Eventually, I realized something important. Done is better than perfect. This phrase, done is better than perfect, means it's better to take action, even if it's not perfect, than to do nothing because you're afraid of failing. It's better to finish a small task, to speak one sentence in English, or to clean a little bit of your room than to wait for the perfect time, perfect tools, or perfect skills. When you choose done over perfect, you give yourself permission to learn, grow, and improve as you go. And believe me, that's where real progress happens. Self-doubt and fear of failure often go hand in hand with perfectionism. You might ask yourself, what if I fail? Or, what if people judge me? Those fears are natural. Everyone feels them at some point. But the key is not to let those fears control your choices. Remember that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Each mistake you make is an opportunity to learn something new, to adjust, and to become stronger. If you never fail, it probably means you're not trying hard enough or not taking risks that matter. Changing your mindset can be difficult because these thoughts have often been with us for a long time. They become like a habit, a way of thinking that feels familiar, even if it's holding you back. That's why awareness is the first step. When you notice these perfectionist or self-doubting thoughts, try not to judge yourself. Instead, say, here's that fear again. It's okay. I can still try. This kind of kindness toward yourself is powerful. It breaks the cycle of harsh self-criticism and helps you keep moving forward. One more important thing, progress doesn't have to be big or fast. Sometimes, just starting small is enough to build confidence. I remember when I finally decided to speak English with a friend, I made so many mistakes. I forgot words, mixed up tenses, and stumbled over sentences. But each time I tried, I felt a little braver. That small step led to bigger steps, and eventually, the fear started to fade. So, if you've ever been so afraid of doing something wrong that you didn't even try, you're not alone. What stops you from starting? Is it the fear of failure? Is it perfectionism? Is it self-doubt? Try to gently challenge those feelings. Remind yourself that done is better than perfect. Remind yourself that every expert was once a beginner. This mindset shift, from fear and perfectionism to action and kindness, is one of the most important changes you can make when organizing your life. Because no matter how many systems or tools you have, if your mind is telling you, I can't, it's hard to make real progress. But when you start telling yourself, I will try, or I will learn, everything becomes possible. So take a moment to reflect. What mindset is holding you back? How can you choose to be kind to yourself today? And remember, organizing your life is not about being perfect. It's about being brave enough to start, to make mistakes, and to keep going. Decluttering your space and your mind. When we talk about organizing your life, most people think first about cleaning their room or their desk. And yes, tidying your physical space is important. But organizing your life is much more than just putting things away or throwing out old stuff. It also means clearing out mental clutter, the thoughts, worries, and distractions that take up space in your mind. Both kinds of clutter, physical and mental, can make you feel stressed and overwhelmed, even if you don't notice it right away. Let's start with physical clutter. Imagine your room or your workspace. Is it messy or tidy? Are there papers, books, or clothes lying around? What about your phone? Is your home screen full of apps you never use? Physical clutter can make it hard to focus because your brain notices all the things around you. Even if you don't realize it, your brain is working harder to process all those visual distractions. It's like trying to read a book in a noisy, crowded cafe. Your attention is pulled in many directions. Cleaning and organizing your space doesn't have to be a big project. Sometimes, small changes make a big difference. For example, try clearing your desk at the end of the day so it's ready for tomorrow. Or delete apps from your phone that you don't use. This simple step can help reduce distractions and give you a clearer screen, which feels calming. Even organizing your digital space matters. Many of us have hundreds of unread emails, random files, or messy folders on our computers. Taking a few minutes to clean up your inbox or sort important documents can bring a surprising sense of relief. Now, let's talk about mental clutter. Your mind is like a computer that holds information, memories, worries, and plans. When your mind is full, it's hard to concentrate, make decisions, or feel calm. Mental clutter can look like racing thoughts, worries about the future, or remembering too many things at once. You might feel stressed without knowing exactly why. One way to clear mental clutter is through a digital detox. That means taking a break from screens, social media, or constant notifications. Our phones and computers keep us connected, but they also keep us busy. Sometimes, the constant stream of messages and news can overload our brain. Even a short break, like an hour without checking your phone or an afternoon with no social media, can help your mind feel fresh and clear. Another powerful tool for mental organization is journaling. Writing down your thoughts can help you understand what's on your mind and reduce stress. It doesn't have to be long or complicated. Just a few sentences about your day, your worries, or your goals can give your mind a chance to relax. When you put your thoughts on paper, they become easier to manage instead of swirling inside your head. To-do lists also help clear mental clutter. When you try to remember everything you need to do, your brain stays busy trying to hold all that information. Writing a to-do list takes that burden off your mind. You can prioritize tasks, see what's important, and feel more organized. And remember, a to-do list doesn't need to be long. Even 3 important tasks per day are enough to help you focus and feel accomplished. You might wonder, how does clutter cause stress without us realizing it? Well, our brains like order and predictability. When there's too much clutter, whether physical or mental, our brain has to work harder, which uses up energy and creates tension. This tension can make us feel anxious or tired. Even if we don't notice the clutter itself, it's like carrying a heavy backpack all day without stopping. Eventually, your shoulders ache, but you might not realize the cause. When you start to declutter both your space and your mind, you create room for clarity and calm. Your brain can focus better. You feel less overwhelmed. You can make decisions more easily. And that makes organizing your life feel much more achievable. So here's a simple challenge. Pick one small area to declutter this week. It might be your desk, your phone's home screen, or even your email inbox. Spend just 10 or 15 minutes cleaning that space. Then, try a small mental decluttering habit. Maybe write a short journal entry at the end of the day, or turn off your phone for 1 hour. Notice how these small changes affect your energy and mood. Decluttering isn't about making everything perfect or spotless. It's about creating a space both outside and inside your mind, where you can think clearly, breathe deeply, and feel more in control. And that's an essential step toward organizing your life in a way that truly works for you. Tools and techniques that actually work. When it comes to organizing your life, there are many tools and techniques available. Some simple, some quite advanced. You might hear about planners, calendars, apps, or time management methods that promise to change your life. But here's an important truth. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. What works wonderfully for one person might not work at all for another. That's why it's essential to experiment and find what fits your style and needs. Let's start with some practical tools you can try. One of the most common and useful tools is a calendar. Whether it's a paper calendar on your wall or a digital calendar on your phone, calendars help you keep track of important dates, appointments, and deadlines. Using a calendar means you don't have to remember everything in your head, which frees up mental space. For example, if you have a doctor's appointment or a meeting at work, putting it in your calendar helps you plan your day better and avoid forgetting. Closely related to calendars are planners. Planners are a bit more detailed. They usually have spaces for daily or weekly planning, to-do lists, notes, and sometimes even reflections or goals. Some people love using planners because they combine the structure of a calendar with the flexibility to organize tasks and ideas. You can find planners in stores or download printable versions online. Some people prefer colorful and artistic planners, while others want something simple and functional. The key is to choose a planner you enjoy using, because if it feels like a chore, you won't stick with it. In today's digital world, many people use note apps on their phones or computers. These apps let you write down ideas, lists, reminders, or even scan important documents. Popular apps like Evernote, Google Keep, or Microsoft OneNote are easy to use and help you organize your notes in one place. The advantage is that your notes are always with you, so you can add or check them anytime. For example, if you suddenly remember a task while shopping, you can quickly open your phone and add it to your to-do list. Another very effective technique is time blocking. Time blocking means scheduling specific blocks of time in your calendar for particular activities. Instead of working without a plan or multitasking too much, you dedicate a fixed amount of time to one task. For example, you might block 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for answering emails, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for focused writing, and 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. for a break. This method helps improve concentration and productivity because you know exactly what you should be doing and when. It also helps prevent procrastination because tasks have a set time to get done. Now, even though all these tools and techniques sound helpful, it's important to be honest with yourself. You won't find the perfect method on the first try. Organizing your life is a process of trial and error. Maybe you start using a planner but find it too detailed or time-consuming. Or you try time blocking but feel too restricted by the schedule. That's completely normal. The point is not to get discouraged, but to learn from each experience. Every time you try something new, you gain information about what works for you and what doesn't. Think of organizing your life like trying on clothes in a store. Some outfits will fit perfectly, and others won't feel comfortable at all. You don't give up after one outfit doesn't work. You keep trying until you find your style. The same applies here. Keep experimenting with different tools and techniques until you find the ones that feel natural and helpful. Also, don't feel pressured to use many tools at once. Sometimes less is more. Starting with one simple tool and using it consistently is often better than juggling several tools and feeling overwhelmed. For example, you might begin with a basic calendar and a small notebook for your to-do lists. When that feels easy, you can add more tools if needed. One last tip is to combine digital and physical tools if that helps you. Some people love writing by hand because it helps them remember better, while others prefer digital tools because of convenience and portability. There's no right or wrong answer. It's about what supports your lifestyle and preferences. So, my advice is this: explore different tools, be patient with yourself, and remember that organizing your life is a journey, not a one-time event. The right tools can make that journey easier and more enjoyable. But the most important thing is your willingness to keep trying and learning. If you haven't already, try picking one tool this week. Maybe download a calendar app, or buy a simple planner, or just start a small to-do list on your phone. Pay attention to how it feels. Does it make things clearer? Does it help reduce stress? And if it doesn't work, that's okay. Try something else next time. Finding the right tools and techniques is like finding a good pair of shoes. When they fit well, you feel comfortable, supported, and ready to take steps toward your goals. And that's exactly what organizing your life is all about. Finding the best way for you to move forward, day by day. Staying organized when life gets messy. One of the most important things to remember when organizing your life is that life itself is unpredictable. No matter how well you plan or how many tools you use, things don't always go as expected. Sometimes unexpected events happen, like a sudden change at work, family emergencies, or simply feeling tired and overwhelmed. This is completely normal. Life is full of ups and downs, and learning to stay organized doesn't mean you have to control everything perfectly. Instead, it means being ready to adapt and show kindness to yourself when things get messy. Many people think that organizing their life means everything has to be perfect all the time. They believe that if a day or week doesn't go according to plan, they have failed. But this kind of thinking can be very stressful and even stop you from trying. The truth is, flexibility is key. When unexpected challenges come up, it's okay to change your plans or slow down. What matters most is not being perfect, but continuing to move forward, even if it's in a different way than you expected. Being flexible means giving yourself permission to adjust your routines. For example, if you usually wake up early to exercise, but one morning you feel very tired or something urgent happens, don't be hard on yourself for skipping that workout. Instead, you can choose to do a shorter session later or take a rest day. The important thing is that you listen to your body and your situation and adapt your plan kindly. Along with flexibility, self-compassion is essential. This means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would give a good friend. When life gets busy or stressful, many people become very self-critical. They say things like, "I'm so lazy," or "I always mess up." But these harsh thoughts only make things worse. Instead, try to say to yourself, "It's okay to struggle sometimes," or "I'm doing my best," and that's enough. This gentle attitude helps you recover more quickly and stay motivated to keep organizing your life. Sometimes, when things feel too chaotic, it's helpful to think about resetting your routines instead of aiming for perfection. Resetting means you don't have to start all over or fix everything at once. Instead, you take small steps to bring back order and balance. For example, after a busy week when you couldn't follow your usual schedule, you might spend 10 minutes planning the next day or tidying a small area of your home. These small resets help you feel in control again and reduce stress without overwhelming you. Remember, staying organized is a long-term process. There will be times when you feel in control and times when you feel like everything is falling apart. Both are normal parts of life. The goal is to keep going, to be patient with yourself, and to use tools like flexibility, self-compassion, and small resets to handle the messy moments. Here's a little exercise you can try next time things get difficult. Pause and take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what's really important right now? And what small step can I take to feel a bit more organized or calm? It might be writing a quick to-do list, clearing your desk, or simply taking 5 minutes to rest. These small moments of awareness and action can make a big difference. So, if you find yourself struggling because life has thrown a curveball, remember this. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to make mistakes. And it's okay to slow down. Organizing your life is not about being perfect. It's about being flexible, kind to yourself, and ready to reset when needed. This mindset will help you stay balanced and keep moving forward no matter what life brings. In the end, organizing your life is a way to support yourself through the ups and downs. It's a practice of patience, kindness, and resilience. And the more you practice these qualities, the stronger and more peaceful you will feel, even when life gets messy. As we come to the end of this episode on organizing your life, I want to take a moment to reflect on what we've talked about and why organizing your life matters. Not just as a way to get more things done, but as a way to feel better inside and outside. Organizing your life is not just about schedules, planners, or tidy spaces. It's about creating emotional clarity, a sense of calm in your mind and heart. When you take small steps to bring order to your day, you're also making room for peace, focus, and confidence. Life feels less chaotic, and you can make better choices because your mind is clearer. You may even notice that when your environment and thoughts are organized, your energy increases, and you feel more motivated to pursue your goals. But let's be honest, organizing your life isn't always easy. It takes patience, practice, and kindness to yourself. Sometimes you'll face setbacks or distractions. That's okay. What's important is to keep going, even if your progress is slow or imperfect. Each small step you take is a victory. Remember, the goal is not perfection, but progress and growth. I want to encourage you today to take one small step toward organizing your life. It could be something simple, like clearing your desk for 5 minutes, writing a to-do list for tomorrow, or deleting a few apps from your phone. Even tiny actions can create momentum and help you build good habits over time. These little victories will add up and bring positive changes that you might not notice right away. But that will make a big difference in your overall well-being. Now, before we finish, I'd like to leave you with some reflective questions. Take a moment to think about these. You can even write your answers in a notebook or say them out loud to practice your English speaking skills. First, ask yourself, what's one habit I want to change to help organize my life better? Maybe it's stopping procrastination, planning your day more carefully, or setting boundaries with technology. Whatever it is, identifying that habit is the first step to change. Next, ask, what's the first area in my life that I'd like to bring order to? It might be your physical space, like your room or your workspace. Or it might be your mental space, for example, reducing worries or managing your time better. Thinking clearly about where to start helps you focus your energy and avoid feeling overwhelmed. And finally, remember this. Organizing your life is a personal journey. It looks different for everyone. So don't compare yourself to others. Celebrate your progress and be patient with yourself. You are capable of creating a life that feels balanced and meaningful, one step at a time. If you found this episode helpful, I invite you to share it with a friend who might also enjoy organizing their life. And don't forget to subscribe to Code Your English for more episodes that help you improve your English while exploring meaningful topics. Also, if you want, you can leave a comment or send me a message about your organizing journey. I'd love to hear your stories and support you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, organizing your life is not about being perfect, but about creating space for what truly matters to you. Take that first step today and keep moving forward, even when life feels messy. You've got this. Until next time, take care and keep coding your English.